Whoa! Hello, everybody. Welcome to Lorelines, Hawk speaking. I'm here with Arden, Core Healer, Ayumi, Neela, and myself. Cobran might be here but late, and Meowth will not be present, but we had a heck of a week this week with the live letter. I think Ayumi did a live stream all night on that.
Tired.
I didn't catch any of it, so you'll have to teach me all the ways of the new contents is.
Just turn on your mic, turn on the stream, and watch it fly.
Yes.
But we also have the patch trailer, which is what we're here for today. And
you can
yeah,
always
hey,
check out my VOD on YouTube. I mean, that's where we put
we
it.
have those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Never
do
mind.
indeed.
I'm going back to eating.
Anyway, welcome everybody. Thank you for being here. I see a few people I haven't seen in a while. I see Azra Abadir. I see Bronx Knight. I see you guys. And
hope you guys are hyped for the patch.
I see Esseline. Thank you for being here.
As Arden said, they also streamed. I had forgotten I should check that out too. I recorded it, but I was too lazy to bother streaming.
Yeah,
Jenny
my stream
says
was chaos.
Jenny says I'm so not hyped for that patch. Yes, I'm definitely fooled by what you're saying. Jenny and I have been talking a bit about our La Habrea appreciation.
That's amazing.
That's what we're calling it.
I mean,
that is what we are calling it.
I'm certainly an appreciator of some Laha bread lately.
Indeed.
In typical foul fashion, I did not detect the sarcasm.
I have insider knowledge.
Well, do you guys want to show
I don't know why I suddenly developed a southern accent there.
I was wondering.
I mean, I approve.
I lived in the South for like a long time. I didn't pick it up on purpose. It just sort of happened.
I don't know what
I
I'm
come by it
listening to
honestly.
today.
Things we are learning. My British accent is terrible, but my Southern one isn't bad.
How's your Emmett accent?
Oh dear.
Pathetic.
Oh dear.
I made a
Honestly,
squeak happen.
Any talent I
false
have at
news.
all with sounding British is definitely from trying to imitate Final Fantasy XIV actors.
Yeah, who are majority British.
Precisely.
Anyway, I guess we should stop stalling. Should I bring up the official site? Should we go straight to the vid? What do you guys want to do?
Vid.
I
These
say we
people
start
need
with the video.
reactions, though they already saw mine. They already heard mine. I went over the trailer probably 4 or 5 times Friday, so if you guys want to check out mine,
Nice.
again, go to the VOD that apparently we don't have.
The shade.
Blank stare.
Salim says, I want to hear that sick theme for the 300,000th time. Agreed.
Yeah.
Man, all the
Right.
music in this trailer was lit. We start
Yes.
off. Well, I'll go into it once we watch it.
I need that stuff. in
I'm
my
just
playlist.
excited.
So
I'm
we'll
very
watch it.
excited.
So we'll watch it one time through normal, and then we'll do the spacebar nonsense.
Yeah.
These guys, I swear.
Let's do it. All right, everybody. Let me know if you can't hear anything, etc. But I think I've got the balance okay. And here we go.
There was once light here, and it shone its warmth upon creation.
Volume sounds great.
The lands were green and the seas were blue. Life flourished. This is where I belong. My home. This endless darkness you call the void.
Death doesn't exist in this world. death they want. I say we give it to them.
That is mine!
I'm really excited for this part.
The crystal, which showed the way to Meteon. And who better to bear Heideling's gift than her chosen champion?
I am here. Finally here.
Thanks for the
And
follow.
I will
Ellie.
find you, sister.
You're not the only ones who can ride the wind.
Then go and impress upon these interlopers the futility of defiance.
I shall see my wish fulfilled. Let's seep sorrow into your heart. Rest eternal in the dark depths of this prison.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Very excited.
Angry Themis
Lame trailers,
exuding.
0 out of 10.
What?
Alex also said, I am honestly a bit surprised how quick we go to the Void properly. Was expecting this patch to be kind of testing out the Atomos and stuff. Honestly, it's same. I figured it was going to be a little slower easing into it sort of thing.
Fair.
Same
Yeah.
until I read the recent Famitsu article, and then I was just like, oh.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
When I
Yeah.
saw Felcourt of Troya, I was like, that's gotta be in the Void,
going,
right?
Yeah, we're going straight in. Like they're just.
I wonder if we're like doing a foothold thing. I'm not sure how it's going to work. I'm very
I,
curious.
I said this on Friday too. Like, if we're going all the way up until like the 0.5 patch where we see like an event that'll tie into 7, and then 7 is where we'll take care of it. I wonder what's going to change this story so rapidly that, you know, was mentioned in that article that they had to do it. Because usually it ends in 0.3, then we get preparation in the last 2 patches. This time we go all the way up to 0.5, then we get it.
Well, that's one of the things we've known since before Endwalker came out, that the storyline wasn't going to end in 6.3 this time. And they had given us hints that it would be similar to the way ARR patches went as
Right.
far as structure, which we're definitely seeing with 6.2. So we can probably
exciting.
expect all of the trials to be linked to the MSQ in some way, which is cool. But also, I'm sitting here like, oh dear fucking god, what is our equivalent to the bloody banquet going to be?
You know, I hadn't
Yeah.
thought about that, but oh god.
And then we're gonna have to sit on whatever that conclusion is until the next expansion.
Yeah. I'm just like, oh no, not again.
And now I'm thinking, you know, obviously it looks like we're popping through and at least checking out the Void. Warrior Light comes back. Void's haunted? But yeah, we knew that.
We went through the Moon's haunted, now we go through the Void's haunted.
It's true.
Rather, we thought it was
Unsurprising yet
haunted, but they're just
important.
people.
Well, there does seem to be one, which is very interesting. Actually, we've been speculating quite a bit about this Reaper lady in the Discord. Actually,
Oh, I have. so
She's
many
my
ideas.
favorite.
I love her.
I
already.
had
cannot
a
wait.
mention about it, but I don't. It's a speculation, and I'm leaving it at that.
well, I mean, we don't have much but speculation at this point. Do we want to go through it again?
Yes, we do.
All I have to say is that being a 4 expansion, a 4 themed expansion, I thought, well, they might have a Tella reference somewhere, anywhere. So thinking back, like, okay, well, if we're going by the person on the 13th, that person being the Azim Shard, Ardbert was supposedly the warrior of our shard on the 1st. What would the 13th shard be? Would it follow the same A name? And if there's a Telev reference, would it be Anna, his daughter?
Intriguing.
That's actually a good point.
Which would follow
Opens
the
us
A,
up for the
but,
Spoony Bard as well. Since, you know, the Bard in 4 was in love with Anna.
Yes. Like I said, it's just a wild thing that I thought about, but I mean, if it turns out to be right, I will be floored.
Do you ever have OBS just behave so strangely you don't know what to do with it?
Yes.
You can always set it on fire.
If they're trying to make her a parallel to Ardbert as well, I also think about the 1.0 female meteor model that we haven't really seen in a long time.
Yeah.
That was
And how
my first
similar
thought,
she
too.
looks like. And I was particularly excited by that for personal canon reasons. I was just like, oh no, this is going to lean into stuff I'm already doing.
Oh no, but also, oh yes.
Yes.
A little bit over, a little bit.
A little bit more.
No, that's not what I'm
Thinking about
troubleshooting. Check this out.
It looks like, yeah, it looks like it's getting constricted on the other one.
Look.
Like, for some reason it's constrained and you need to open it up on the sides.
You see what happened, Arden?
Yeah. Oh, that's
My
great.
life. I'm telling you guys. You should fire
So
me.
basically, you have more problems with OBS than I do. Got it.
We could just view it in the other window.
Yeah.
That would be fine to do. We don't necessarily need the big screen of it.
Bigger is not always better.
Titania has words for you.
All right, fair enough.
Wow, just go to the other screen.
Yeah.
He did.
Keep it simple, stupid.
There was once light here,
Wow.
and it shone its warmth on creation.
Brevity is full of wit. all of
love.
that.
I found it interesting that they were showing the island sanctuary while talking about the void at first.
I thought it was
Kind of
clever.
a little, it was once like that. Oh no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Life flourished.
We know how
Like this
little
really
they
high mountain.
we know how little they tell the truth in these trailers visually, and so it's
Red
a great
herrings everywhere.
tell.
Yeah, the creative
This is where I
misdirection in these
belong.
is quite impressive, frankly.
My
This is
home
the first place I want to stop. When I
is
saw this, I was like,
endless
oh, the world of
darkness
darkness.
or the
And then I was like, wait, there's another one. What the hell?
Yeah.
I think you're onto
I love
something.
how they were like, is it really on the void? I'm like,
Yes.
gestures at the several world of darkness looking blob things. I think it is.
Exactly.
Garmiglione!
And then me being like internally just brain going mute thinking about the balls and the dead ends and then the balls and the void.
Yeah.
I'm like, ah.
You should have seen me straighten up at that Final Fantasy IV like random encounter sound.
Dear
'Cause,
Rick!
like, I heard that so much as a kid. My spine was just like, whoop.
They're
Fight time.
awakening. They're awakening.
I have to
Pavlovian
agree, Chrissy.
responses.
In chat said Lucia's voice actor is Reaper Lady. It sounds a lot like her.
Interesting. I hadn't caught that.
Her voice is so light in the trailer that it almost sounds like. Do you remember the Resolute Woman in Charlene? The Aura lady?
Vaguely?
It was the woman who kind of helped the girl up at the altar during the Final Days cutscene, and then got a job at Tataru's workshop.
Was that
what
one
is
in
it? Was
Thavnir?
it Thavnarian?
Yes.
I remember the Thavnarian one. Yes.
It kind
You
of
said
sounds
Charlie
like
and
her
it
too.
threw me off at first.
Because she
Interesting.
works in Charlene now at Tataru's
Yeah,
workshop.
but I'm slow. I also wanted to say on the subject of Scarmion, I'm very curious if Estinian using they pronouns is a plural or if Scarmion is not some kind of non-binary, because the voice I noticed was very sort of androgynous. I don't know. Could be nothing. I'm intrigued.
They have been starting to lean into those sorts of things a little bit more
Which I
with certain
appreciate.
PCs, and I appreciate it too. So having them do that would be interesting.
Yoshida-san has been really like pushing toward that sort of thing. I get the impression, like,
which is
Yeah.
which I appreciate.
Give me gender neutral pronouns in game for Wool, please.
Yeah, I think that they
Someday,
know
maybe.
that. Yeah, I
would
definitely
love
want to
that.
see that, and I think they do appreciate that a lot of the people playing their game are LGBT and everything.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to accommodate that as much as they can.
I wouldn't even
I think they
mind
have an
like
appreciation
if
for
you
it.
know they couldn't go back to old expansions and fix the voice acting for it. Just having it in text for the old stuff and then going forward having it in voice to stuff would be nice.
I think I just want to address in chat. Zombie says, "Who is the Reaper lady?" I think y'all are onto something with the facial type and the original here female Warrior of Light model. I think she might be a shard on the 13th, and that
Shardbert 2.0.
correct, and that like
That's what I
Unokaha is just
said.
one of the ones, but not the one. I think you're onto something with that. I agree. I think I agree with you.
My question then would become: does she have any relation to the Void Sent avatar that Xenos had that's back on the 13th?
It really seems like it.
Like,
I did
especially
want
with
to
the
say,
scythe?
I like the possibility of her being another Asm shard, simply because I know some people look at Ardbert and were like, well, mine's female and I don't like this. Well, we should get both sides. And I mean, it reinforces the idea that the Sundering, created new appearances for the same old souls.
What if she
Which was
lent him
mentioned
her
briefly
avatar?
with Mitran, but like a lot of people didn't know. Say again?
What if she lent him her avatar?
I would be interested. Since this person is a native of the Void, it's possible they can be the avatar, as it were. And the voice analysis that was done after 6.1 showed a female voice, and it sounds real similar. And I believe the scythe is identical too.
So that would be interesting, and then we could be like, "Do you want to know what he really thought of you?" And asking her questions about Xenos.
He wishes he could have asked you out on a date.
Neoconia says the Reaper avatar and her have the same or similar scythe. Yeah, I was just commenting on that as well. High five.
Right. We are noticing that in like eyebrow waggle.
It would be very interesting if a void sent looking creature could become human looking, and I would be very curious how it's done.
Probably similar to the anti-tempering techniques.
Give us that for Reaper.
So, the Reaper lady is like, you haven't even seen my true form. Just kidding, you have.
Death doesn't exist in this world.
Love Scarmunion's flowers too.
They did mention the crystal that was tracking Meteon after Catesis in the video as well. However, briefly, Y'shtola mentioned talking about that. I wonder what the significance of that will be.
Yeah, and then us having that, I'm just like, but why though?
Yeah, the Asylum says the level of secrecy they've had with this very specific avatar makes me think a shard connection is a great theory. I agree. And it's not just the secrecy. They've also more than once said, I hope you've been paying attention to this. There's something interesting going on here.
Yeah, and they were saying even before Endwalker released, oh, by the way, the avatar is a really important character. And then, we barely saw it in actual Endwalker MSQ, so it's like, hello,
And there's
what
certainly
are you
other
up
possibilities,
to?
but
Yeah, it really feels like we only really interacted with the avatar maybe twice. At the end of Garlemald, right before Babel, and then at the very end in the duel.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't even call that interacted with.
Yeah, we never actually spoke to it. It was always with Xenos.
Did we already mention that the theme in this trailer is actually the Troya theme?
Oh, that's a good thing to bring up. I had forgotten to do that.
Hold on a sec. I want you all to hear this. I could bring up the song in a separate window.
This is where I belong.
Alex, this one guy says, you guys really pay attention. Yes, Yoshida-san.
This part.
Darkness you call the void.
It's asks us to pay attention and then is like, oh, you do pay attention.
We are nerds, sir.
This is our hyperfixation. Of course we pay attention.
It's another death they want. I say we give it to them.
That is mine.
Their ether is mine. Ethylene with lore is a food group.
Oh my gosh, it's true.
So this is the new solo duty version of Steps of Faith, I believe.
Yeah, this is a glow up. I love it.
It looks great.
Just from what we can see here, obviously.
I've
Like
been
the,
incredibly pleased with all of these
the
glow
wings.
ups.
I appreciate that they're going back to doing it because it deserves more attention. The story is solid, and some of the execution is just, you know, not as solid.
Is this how we looked when we were watching the video?
Probably.
Yeah.
Hopefully, slightly less like elaborate.
Yeah, hopefully.
Arden with the bunny ears.
Uh,
The crystal.
So now it's happy
What
as
did we
back
say?
in the
There's
day.
one.
I will grab all the loperates and put them in a stew.
This is more of that expansion of the solo duty system. That's Azale in Somal? Or is it the other
Honestly, I had thought about yeeting my reaction entirely, like onto YouTube or something. And then I was like, wow, I said some
Yes,
really
that's some
mean
all.
stuff. I said some mean stuff about the loperates. Maybe I should edit it a bit.
It's some all because you
just
you
don't like
guys
them.
are going up with Shiva to
Yes,
Moghome.
it's like Rafflesia or whatever. I forget what it's called.
This is the most important part of the story?
No!
And who better to bear Heideling's gift than her chosen champion?
I am here.
Who is it? Who is it?
It's an Ellis, and I looked very closely. I was like, wait, is that? I was like, they said they weren't going to say anything. I looked
By
very,
the
I was
way,
like,
by the way,
they're definitely hinting though.
hold on. By the way, if you look, go back to the cutscene. Go back to where they're running up the vault stairs. They grabbed some random dude outside there
Oh, they're
as
hiding
one
it
of their
hard.
lancers.
Random night.
Random Knight number 65.
The likelihood that they would not include him as an option is approximately nil, but it'll still, you know, break people's brains and it'll be great.
That was one of the funniest things to me during that cutscene. Like,
Oh yes.
okay, we have all these important people. We have Alphina, we have the Warrior of Light, we have Harshafant, and then there's this dude.
Imagine now I'm imagining him just like starry-eyed, like, oh my gosh, I get to go with these cool people.
And kill my countrymen.
Well, they were being naughty.
I like to think it's the same dude who lets us into the vault at the beginning. Is that it's his like day, it's his time to shine.
It's like I've been preparing for this my whole life.
No more
So,
boring guard duty at the front door.
a little bit of
yes,
brain
the
candy.
void.
So, here on the 13th, World of Darkness with the light shining through, what paladins do we know who could be memorialized on this statue?
A good question. It depends on if they're leaning more into 13 stuff or 4 stuff.
It sure does.
We
I
can
mean, we
know
know
one
Ciela is
main
on the first.
character.
Yeah.
Or for
Indeed.
maximum pain, it's
But might have
another
been
Elidibus
commemorated.
Warrior of Light.
Oh geez.
Ow.
Yeah, something that was influenced by that potentially. If the 13th was the first shard they tried to rejoin, maybe that was the first time Elidibus pulled the Warrior of Light stuff.
And I will find you.
So I want to mention this to Alex in chat. Lydia Leonard is not listed as the voice actress for Lucia from Stormblood onwards.
Huh.
She's listed for Heaven's Ward, but
They switched it? I never noticed.
But not for Stormblood, not for Shadowbringers, and not for Endwalker.
Very interesting.
I just went on the IMDb site and on a few other places, and she's not credited.
Ah, that bit there, they're on Vrtra's head or back. At first, when I watched it, I didn't catch
there is Vrtiad.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's got to be Vrtiad.
Vrtiad-alike.
Well, I mean, maybe it is the we're back at home now Vrtiad. That's what I'm worried about.
It's possible he was, killed and sent there. It's possible he's come over to hang out and be like, hey, nice rift you got there. Don't mind if I use it, do you?
I've been working out.
Oh my god.
Vrtiad pumping.
That got me.
Commenting on us having a scythe now.
Just name him Buff Vrtiad.
I'm going to 0.5 speed because I want to catch this, but I'm going to turn the volume off so it doesn't kill everybody's brains. I'll do 25% actually.
I see some statues in the back there.
So yeah, it's our scythe-wielding person. We've got Cannon Warrior of Light and Justinian in the backdrop. So our new hero is strong then.
Not the only ones who can ride the wind.
I love that line. You're not the only ones that can ride the wind.
Which is actually a line from Kane in Dissidia NT.
Yep.
Yes, when someone pointed that out, it broke my brain. I was like, oh.
Not just that, it
That's
happens.
brilliant.
It happens more or less in Final Fantasy IV proper during the Barbaricia Valvalis fight, because she has an involving a tornado spell, and you jump with Kane to dispel that and make her vulnerable to attack.
Yes. I'm curious if that's gonna play out whenever we get to the trial.
So this is
It'll be
Vrtiad, right? I've got it paused now.
Yes. We know there are like classes of Void Scent, but Vrtiad seems like one that may be like singular. I don't know. I'm very curious. Anyway.
I get the sense that, if not that, at the very least high on the ladder.
Yes.
Probably like similar to the second boss of Mach, Vorgast, or whatever. Old Test.
Tara Platt voices Lucia for a Realm Board, then they changed to Lydia from Heaven's Word onwards. But I'm not seeing her credited for Stormblood, Shadowbringers, or Endwalker, which is strange because that's 3 expansions. Like, even if she wasn't credited for Endwalker, she should have been credited for at least Stormblood, because that's 2016.
So this is a dungeon. This is the normal trust format with Estinian and Yashtola. We've got Warrior of Light leading the pack. Who's this person on the right?
Varshan!
That's pretty exciting.
They made an adult version of his humanoid form.
So Vrtra says, I'm gonna get big just so we can actually fight.
Right.
He's like, wait, you mean I can go through full size? Heck yes. Though I saw someone, I think on Twitter, point out that it's sort of a symbolic, he's taken charge of his fate. He's not just like standing guard over people. He's now being proactive, and it's sort of a symbol of that. And I really like that approach to it.
He's like growing up essentially.
He's just all that happened is they just waited 5 years for them to actually go into the
5 years later.
It's a time skip, like I said.
Are we gonna get the time skip? Time skip.
Oh my god.
Hey, if we get that, we better see Alphino and
That's right.
Right.
Don't get me started.
Let's not get our hopes up. This is just a transformation.
If the alchemist can make a child simulacra, they can make an adult one.
Yeah.
That's right.
And
Maybe
then
they just
maybe-
cast enlarged person on it.
And then maybe Twitter can stop being weird.
Right.
When
would
is
love
Twitter
that.
not?
No, proto carbuncle is a thing.
Look who it is.
That's why it's so weird.
I mean, at least Proto Carbuncle is less weird.
Ma, there's a weird cat outside.
Let's take it in and feed it.
Looks like Grandma the fucking thing.
Welcome, Cobran.
Hello.
You made it.
I did. So, what have we gone over so far? I'm sorry I'm late.
Oh, it's fine. I was going to give you an
Uh,
opportunity to tell people what you've been working on.
I will towards the end of stream.
Awesome.
We were
Awesome,
just
awesome.
talking about the Void mostly, and like some of the people who've been seen there now.
We've gone through the trailer. This is the second time.
Okay, awesome. Hello, Alex. How are you? Anyway, don't let me keep you. I need to get some coffee.
Oh, no problem.
I am really excited that Ketchy and the Red Bills are coming back because
Same.
seeing them at the end of Endwalker when we were gathering all the parts was really kind of heartening to see, how the expansion we gather up a bunch of people and then they help us in the end. We did that kind of with all the expansions, so I'm really glad that they're coming back into focus now because we're getting the Void, and of course, Ketchy is very familiar with that.
Plot twist.
Be...
They are only here for Tataru's grand endeavor.
Oh, that was
Still cool though.
Bite your tongue though.
No, it
I
is.
would wanna
It's
see them.
actually shown in the screenshots in the live letter that they say Tataru's grand endeavor and they show the Red Bills.
Yeah,
Sorry,
but I would still
but
like to
it's
see
still
them on
cool.
the 13th.
That would be cool too.
And I mean,
Indeed.
wouldn't it be wild for Leofard to get a voice actor?
That would be amazing.
The thirst would like multiply by 100.
Yeah, there's already a dedicated base.
There's already a
like him.
dedicated, yeah.
Yeah, the Sky Pirates are a really underused resource that I love seeing them come back because they're still out there. So
Yep. Again, being in side quest purgatory makes it hard, but who knows? Yeah.
Yep, but like the Crystal Tower, who knows? Now maybe we'll see the Void Arc become mandatory side content along with Eden.
yeah, it really ought
We're
to be.
slowly getting to that.
I've said for a really long time now that there is no real side content in 14. Everything is MSQ.
Basically, we knew
Eventually,
that
everything is MSQ.
the second that we had side quests in the Azim Steppe that tied directly into the following expansion, like there's no question that side quests are not side quests.
Yeah.
Then go.
I need to get some
And impress upon these interlopers.
Lorelines be like, this is all mandatory, but don't worry, we'll help you run it if you come hang out with us.
Heck yeah.
Oh, this is my new favorite character, by the way.
Right? Yes.
So I've seen a lot of theories. Some people say she might be Meteor from the 13th and be kind of
Meteor.
another shard of ours. I don't like that theory because it feeds another theory of mine that I really don't like.
We were talking about
yes,
that earlier, and
eternal
I'm very
Asm.
excited by that. But like, I can appreciate people not wanting that either.
Go into it,
Plot,
please.
plot twist. It is Xenos' Reaper.
I mean, I'd be okay with that. I'd be okay with kind of them spawning a version of Xenos from another shard that is more, how should I say, permanent,
And also a lady. Hopefully,
and also a lady.
hopefully she gets a little better treatment than some of the other female.
Yeah,
cosplays
14 has
we've done.
been not great to its female.
Yeah,
uh,
other than like Y'shtola and very other rare examples, like it really does feel like they kind of get the short end of the stick for permanence.
Yeah, but basically, if this is a shard of Asm from the 13th that somehow didn't get consumed by the darkness, it feeds into my theory that at some point in the distant future we will rejoin with all of our shards and become unsundered again. At which point, after we've done all our adventures and explored everything there is to explore, we're like,
Yeah.
okay, there's nothing left here. I'm gonna go back to the unsundered world in the distant past, further back than we've ever gone, and become the original Azem and close the loop. And that's how Azem knows everything that is going on in Pandaemonium, and they're like, pass me, I'll take care of it.
I
I don't know about that.
I think it
I
fits.
I personally think that they won't have us fully rejoin. I feel like that would really undermine the Ascians are tragic but did not so great things angle. For us to be like, well, there's another way and we totally did it and you just should have seen it. What's wrong with you guys? You lived forever and didn't figure it out. What I would expect. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I'll be real quick.
Right. Yeah,
what I would expect is that we rejoin with maybe 2, no more than 3.
I think it would also undermine a lot of what Vana was trying to do and was trying to say, as well as what the Ascians were doing and saying. Like it would undermine from multiple angles, and potentially even also like undermine a lot of what people are already trying to do with their own headcanons for their characters and their Azems both. I don't think it would happen. It would also be very convoluted and take a long time to tell a story like that. To what end?
Yoshida with the "We are the bubble."
Well, it is also, the beginning of a new expansion arc. So if they wanted to do a long and convoluted story, now is definitely the time because we're on our next 10-year arc.
I would also briefly say that Ardbert may end up being like the only case of us rejoining with the Shard, and that was partly motivated by him being dead. Whereas this person, if they're a Shard, like we could end up just being their friend.
They are also in this. I was thinking about this. I think I was discussing it in another Discord actually, about how if Ardbert being stuck alone for 100 years sucked, and he was like, "Man, don't make a decision that leaves you alone." It's been how long since the Void was created? This person has been alone and apparently undying ever since then.
Yeah, the whole undying
probably got turbo
thing.
depression.
Probably
the
just
whole
like
undying thing really has my attention. With the
oh
Void.
yeah,
I'm like, huh.
fascinating.
She's gonna be a little bit like Emmett in that respect, then, from Shadowbringers.
I mean, we need more unhinged female characters.
I would love it.
Arden says, "Unhinged only, please."
Yes, please.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have a lot of reasons to like the idea of her being a Shard of Azem. I find like grabby hands.
And Alex says also she can actually affect change unlike Ardbert. It does seem to be the case. I wonder how much one person can actually do against a bunch of Void Sent, or if there'll be more that seem more humanish like her, or she's all alone. I'm very curious.
How about this blue aura?
I think that's part of the Reaper skills. I could be wrong.
It's called a Reaper skill, pal.
Yeah, so, I don't know them personally, but there's a Reaper in my static, so I see her do it a lot.
Another wacky idea might be that since Elidibus kind of plucked Unkauhai and Silva out of their shard before the fall, that doesn't necessarily mean that they were the only ones. And after Elidibus passed, it might have kind of broken her free of that. So she might just kind of be on the 13th, but have enough light to still be okay.
I would be fascinated. Also, once the flood of darkness itself passed over, it's kind of, well, that's actually, no, here's a really good point that I only just remembered. If you go out into the empty, you risk corruption. That's why we couldn't stay out there too long during Eden. And as we recently learned in 6.1, if you go into the Void, you also risk corruption if you don't have some kind of protection. How is this person...
Yeah.
Or is that why they have this Void, this Reaper-y looking avatar version?
Because they're just like acclimated to it to the point where they might as well be a partial Void Sent themselves.
I'm very curious to see how this is going to play out.
Because they don't look like Nero did in World of Darkness, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's true. No purple juice.
It was just purple because he was going faster. So, Neela, have you talked about the inversion yet?
I have not, though I have provided reference material.
I see that.
Color inversions.
I was curious about it, and I'm glad to see that was confirmed. So that makes me curious about a few mechanics of the world.
Indeed.
And this is the Warrior of Light looking angry.
Yes.
Angry that their retirement's been interrupted?
Yes.
Walking toward the avatar looking thing like that is very interesting.
You guys, any thoughts on the voice of the avatar?
I believe someone did an analysis after 6.1 and were able to confirm that it is indeed a female voice. I haven't double-checked it myself, but people are saying that it is similar to the narration we got at the beginning.
Awesome. And yeah, I initially thought the opening narration was Silva. I now am not so sure about that.
Silva would also be cool, don't get me wrong. I'd love to see her. I just think she's in side quest purgatory.
She's in side quest purgatory, but I also think it's too early to bring her into play, because once we bring her into play, we also bring Unkauhai and dunking Eden into the void into play.
Which I would be interested to see happen.
Yeah,
There are many theories with counteracting light and dark, as Y'shtola mentions after the
pulling
dying
a
gasp.
reverse Eureka.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, we're at inversion.
All right,
What
we
happens
are.
when you
All right.
invert?
Me screaming at my poor microphone. It's my if I post my reaction, it'll need a volume warning because I'm just screaming at it. It's the wrong color.
It's the wrong color.
the
It's
rock.
red, not blue.
Yep.
But I poked Neela when I saw this, and I was like, Neela,
Yes.
run this.
I did.
Make with the do.
Yes. Do you have the reference shot that I made? Yeah, if people in the Discord are wondering why my name is a different color from the rest of the cast, it's because I won't shut up about color inversion.
And we would never ask you to.
So,
Please,
Neela,
that's
do you
good.
want to explain your color inversion theory for people who might not be aware?
Well, it's nothing quite so concrete, but there's some different. Well, I mean, okay, words. So, colors. There's a lot of color complementary things you can do. Like, I'm not a visual artist, so I'm not very good at it. Every time I need to talk about this, I go talk to my sister because that's her area of expertise. But one thing you can do is completely invert the values of a digital image. It's very easy to do. Even Microsoft Paint can handle it. And what it does is it swaps light for dark, and it makes colors the opposite side on the color wheel. If you look in the live chat channel, I have a better reference even than that. Sorry, looking for it. But
Yeah, I can't find
basically,
it anywhere. Oh, there it is. It's up
It should
further.
be right at the bottom.
At the
Oh,
bottom.
sorry, never mind then. Shut up. I don't know where we're at.
Okay.
You think I know what I'm doing? I was looking for it. I hadn't gotten there
You
yet.
think I'm a professional?
Same. But yeah, so the one thing that doesn't fit is the fact that okay, it's much lower down than that. Is that crap, who's hosting us today? It's all the way at the bottom of the channel. All the way at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
I see. We're going through pausing and chatting it over. Yes, is my last
Like
message.
2 messages above that. Wow.
Okay.
Yep. So, but yeah, as you can see, even in this one, inverting the color makes the constellation dark rather than light. That is not the case we have here. It's only the underlying color that's switched. But this shows you how close to exactly inverted it is. It's pretty close. And with thanks to at Igyorm on Twitter for the lovely references. She has a whole website of reference stuff, which is really useful. I'm going to link it.
Yeah, so I saw the constellation. I was like, that's La Habrea, and I don't remember La Habrea being red. He was blue. So I had to cross-reference that, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, Neela!
Yeah, and having just done the Pandaemonium video just that last week, I had gotten a really good look at it recently. I knew the color and I recognized the constellation, and I was like, what in the what?
Cobron immediately after seeing the trailer, both the Japanese and the English trailer, immediately sent Cobron sent Neil a message. I need your inversion right now.
Yep. But yeah, if you look at that, you can see. So the picture in the middle, you can see the 5.3 crystal on the left. That's what we picked up in the down in the illusory Amrot. You can see the one that our La Habrea is holding we know it's him because we've seen his mask on his chest as well as the art. And then in between, I simply took and copied that crystal in his hand, pulled it out, and inverted color on the left half. So that's what's going on there as far as I can tell. But yeah, basically the idea of the color inversion theory is that something goes wrong, it swaps it out. And it's the opposite, sort of indicative of something being wrong or twisted. I don't. This makes me think it's not. Oh well, there's just a different La Habrea. It makes me think something is wrong.
Yeah, like a corruption or something. Soul corruption or shenanigans, as you would put it.
I've already got
Yes.
a number of theories, but I still think that, yeah, there's something definitely wrong here, and it's making me think that he isn't our La Habrea.
So
Oh, that's not possible, but
I see this shot of Eric Thanius and of him himself, kind of nondescript. I'm more fixated on what's in the background, namely the thorns, and I hadn't noticed them. Go ahead.
Those ribbed things are also in a few screens later.
Yep, and
he looks like he's casting. He looks like he's casting a terminal shot now.
Yeah, absolutely. But I just looked at that and I was like, "Oh, that's interesting," considering that thorns was a very, what was it? Predominant theme in for P4.
True.
Don't get me started on time travel. I have an entire episode dedicated to it.
I wanted to take a moment. I know it's not the subject of the day, but Themis, Elidibus, the face, the structure, the themes, the model for the Warrior of Light boss. There's almost no way you can take me where Themis is not Elidibus.
There is
and the voice.
He has the voice.
If you guys, it's been a while since 6.0. If you take a moment and go back and rewatch the 6.0 stingers and go find the little teaser for Pandaemonium, you get to hear him talk.
Yep, and I put both clips in the video, but
thank you.
It's not an in-game way of identifying it, but in the actual dialogue. How do I put this? Transcript, thank you. From the game itself, he is listed as Elidibus, not Themis.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever his game is about not having the mask on yet or pretending to just work for the convocation under them, not as them, certainly makes me wonder what's up with that. But I do think he's actually Elidibus now or about to be soon.
Well, consider what he said. I was recently working on the Pandaemonium refresher video, which totally check out on our YouTube. If you're a little rusty on what happened on Pandaemonium, he actually says, Eric Thonius asks him, what would happen if the convocation knew what had happened here? And the quote-unquote Themis says they would have to cut it off or possibly destroy it entirely, with all the warders inside, including La Habrea's son, if he were to acknowledge who and what he is. Which would be awkward.
The nuclear option makes me wonder what's really going on in Pandaemonium.
Mm-hmm.
And Zoila brings up a good point. One of the problems they have with Themis being Elidibus is when they died in 5.3, the spiritual ghost of them was noticeably younger looking than Themis.
I think that's more to do with him being, depleted of ether and possibly also some light rebirth themes.
Right.
Yeah, symbolic rather than literal.
Yeah, it's a symbol.
It's a lot like that scene after Elpis with Vena, where it's like, this seems sort of baffling. I think it's supposed to be non-literal.
Same, yeah. And also, keeping in mind that the Elidibus we kill, more or less, is post becoming part of Zodiark and post becoming a primal, whereas this is the human, so to speak.
Actual flesh person.
This is the actual flesh person before any sacrifice.
Which, if you read Erar Curtain. It's Erar Curtain Falls, right? Yeah.
Error,
It is,
yeah.
yeah.
In other languages, it doesn't say a glimmering mass comes out. It describes him as like a black slimy mass.
Yeah, a goo boy.
He was a goo boy.
Ah, Cubus.
Pillsbury Will of the Star.
I cannot facepalm hard enough right now.
You
Anytime,
can
Fred.
try.
Right, but I don't want to. Oh wow, Goolitibus. There we go.
Yes.
Oh my
Good.
God.
Good.
The return of Ghoulis.
No. Cursed. Love it though.
Not cursed. Just fun and
Blurst.
squishy in all the right places.
Anyways, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, Litibus.
How actually there were a few moments in Pandaemonium 1 where a little bit of the authority comes out and it's very great to see, but I have a feeling we're going to get even more this time. He looks very upset here, but also kind of like maybe something bad has happened. I will tell you, when I saw this bit in the trailer, I was like peering hard, looking for that mask I wanted to see. I can't see it. It's just out of... I can't tell if it's off screen or if it's off his chest.
I think it's off screen.
Maybe, yes. It's hard. It's really hard to tell, but yes, I think you're probably right. Do you think they did that on purpose?
Maybe.
I love this
Hey, look,
art.
there's those conduits again. Oh yeah, the art
so we have the shot
patch
of
is so good.
We should have a shot of a crazy upside down person here, who is female, which makes me happy.
No,
Now I want to know
I-
everything
no,
about
it
this person.
I
seems
wanna
to
know
be
who
a
this
different
is.
person. It's a completely different character.
We'll see.
The short-haired one. This is a
Mhm.
Who are
female
you,
model.
woman? Not Athena, I don't think.
No, definitely not. I don't
Skin's
think we'll
not
see
dark
Athena
enough.
until part 3.
Same.
Wouldn't it
It's
be
hard to
wild
tell
if we
here.
fought La Habrea the Elder in the end of Abyssos?
Yeah.
Could be.
I will say, when I saw this, I also thought it was crazy upside down Kobe. It's only when I saw the screenshot that they provided that has a much clearer view of her that I was like,
Mhm.
wait a minute.
I
couldn't tell until then.
I'm also curious to see if this woman likes La Habrea like Hesperos did, so that we can make a
Athena?
joke of like, or that, and
I
basically
mean, who
like,
doesn't?
like then it's
Right?
like Pandemonium becomes all of La Habrea's exes / crushes or whatever, like the dungeon raid.
Well, then we would probably see guys there, but
Well, also,
I have-
speaking of like potential Pandemonium 8 boss, I've been thinking about the theme of the gear set and how like some of it's red, fire, flamey stuff, which fits with La Habrea, but then we've got, the dark purple glowy set too, and I'm just like, La Habrea as boss 8 with some kind of, savage only transformation phase seems
Yeah.
like it could definitely be a thing.
It
It's
all
possible.
also makes me think that this is like proto-Asian stuff going on a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I agree
It's
completely.
kind of what I was expecting.
The
going into
Hemetheos
this, and I'm
thing.
excited to see it. Oh, speaking of Hemetheos, look at this boss. Unlike Hesperos, she doesn't have a seamless merger going on. You can see it better in the screenshot. Maybe I should share that with you, actually. But she's got transformation creeping up her neck and down her hands, but parts of her are still human, and she hasn't changed her clothes the way Hesperos has. So I'm wondering if it's either partial and unfinished and we interrupt the process, or if something went wrong with hers.
I'm also looking for the screen of La Habrea they posted from the interview. I'm going to post it in live chat in a sec.
Good call.
And in case there was any question at all, we've got a full character model, mask, and sigil.
Yep, it's pretty clear who's there, yes. At least at this point. Though not what's going on with the whole thing.
I think the hair color
Yeah, I
is
threw
important.
pictures for you. Oh yeah, and you mean her hair color?
Hers, yes.
I was wondering if it could be a sister.
Well,
I
yeah.
think it's probably coincidence, but it could be a sibling. It couldn't be his mother. She's not nearly dark-skinned enough for that. Unless they're doing something really weird, and that would make me uncomfortable.
We're hoping that's not the case.
Yes, I hope they have a little more tact than that.
Her skin is kind of like grayed, like she's undead or dead too. So I'm like,
Perhaps.
There's quite the gray
perhaps.
hint.
Yes, her robes are different.
They look like they're a modification of stuff we saw in Asphodelos.
Yes, she has altered them. Pray she does not alter them further.
It's just Bloodborne. Come on, guys.
It really it's kind of like Ancient meets Bloodborne because it's got
Yeah.
the mask, it's got the the little shoulder ruffle that they've got.
I'm so down.
Yeah, right?
That is such a good combo.
Zental brings up a good point. Ascians like conformity, including down to their clothing and obscuring their identities. But here we're seeing a little more diversity within that. It's like when you've got a school that has a uniform, but people wear, different socks or something to differentiate.
You got like a phone
themselves
charm.
from someone else. Yeah, exactly, like a phone charm or something like that to set themselves apart, even in a conformist appearing area. So you've got her who has kind of a sideswept, I guess, skirt piece for her robes. And if you pull up the image of La Habrea, which I think this is particularly notable, we can see that he is wearing a turtleneck in this screen that they posted in the Famitsu interview, which is interesting because that is the kind of turtleneck that the Ascians adopted as well. So we can see that the Ascian style probably came from La Habrea.
Yes, and also I had mused before that maybe because we've never seen anyone else with this. I was like, maybe it's a speaker thing, but now I'm also thinking, what if he's got some kind of transformation creeping up? So he's just like, I'm cold, I need something warm.
Yeah, nobody bats an eye, but he's actually got like scales or something going on down there.
Or,
maybe, I don't know.
Creeping burns.
That reminds me, I need to work on that embroidery.
Oh.
I'm shooting this next week, by the way.
Oh, this thing that won't be mentioned till the very end, apparently.
But yes, you can see here the mask. We know that's La Habrea. And shatter. Is he shattering the glyph? Is he shattering the stone?
I think that the one red eye is really important as well.
I think it's very symbolic, not literal, but I'm intrigued what it means.
I got the sense it was probably the glyph, just because of how it was angled, but also because we've learned from that Q&A that the glyphs are supposed to be some kind of power as like a functional thing, and that if he's really like trying to break his chains or whatever, that would be one way to do it.
Indeed. I've also speculated the stone might be something related to the power of the glyph. If these are indeed like job stones, where the deeds and knowledge and information of past holders of these seats is engraved on them, shattering it could shatter the limit. And thanks to a friend of mine who actually went back, because there'd been some question of the translation. I'd heard people saying, oh, limiter's not a good translation, but they went back and looked at it, and it really does seem to be the most accurate way to put it.
Well, the issue I had is that, we had some discussion as to whether, like, what limiter means, because limiter means literally it creates a limit. This isn't some symbol that makes people know that you're being super ethery right now. A limiter means you have chains on, or you're handcuffed, or you have some sort of you're wearing a weighted outfit.
That puts the question of a limit break in a very interesting light. Is he just LBing?
He just LB'd?
Is he interacting with
in a very epic way. That's another thing we should bring up and talk about at some point, Dynamis.
Go ahead. So one of the things probably the most interesting revelation about Dynamis that I've discovered digging into the lore of this game is that Dynamis was a critical component of the rejoinings. And we actually learned this at the end of Shadowbringers when Emmett Selk is talking about having to use Bliss through Vothry to initiate the rejoining, whereas with you as a Light Warden, it would be Despair. But there would be some emotional component that was critical to it, which is why they needed people to be the ones to initiate rejoinings. They couldn't do it themselves.
That seems very correct and true to me. It's not just the ether, they also have to have some kind of other component.
Even if they didn't entirely understand it.
And yes, Tenebrae, we did. And Jenny, she's clearly violating Elba's policy.
Oh, sure.
Question.
We're gonna have to put her in jail for violating OSHA.
Oh no!
Right,
She's already in jail.
But in one of the cages.
Solitary confinement.
Question: if red hair isn't Athena, is this one, or is this just another person?
I believe this is just a random warder. That's
Most
probably
likely.
mind wonkied. But I just genuinely don't
Or-
think we're gonna see anything on Athena until the last series.
Or, I mean, we did have that one Ether Current quest where we had, you know, students of Metron or whatever come to Elpis. What if more people from Elpis and visitors to Elpis get dragged into the storyline somehow?
I've looked at the lady. There's a lady in one of the quests, Charmian, who has very similar hair, but her hair is actually slightly whitish blue. I looked at this and I was like, in my reaction, I was like, is that Charmian? Because I paid a lot of attention to that quest, because that was a long one and it had a lot of really interesting lore, but it's not the same person. Her hair is totally different. Same shape, different color.
Okay, Neela, I read that as it seems to be the same location as Eric Thanios casting internet, not internet.
Every time I see interment in game, I have to manually remind myself it's not internet.
Casted
Chains
internet.
Of internet.
Oh, this reminds me. I need to go and install those freaking monster carbuncle emotes on the Discord server.
Oh yeah, people have made some great emotes, and it's very lovely.
You know,
Also, here, right after Proto Carbuncle jumps, and we see it focus in on La Habrea, right behind him is that figure in the doorway.
I just noticed this sewer pipe behind him.
Yeah.
So Proto Carbuncle, I like to think now that what we see is the cute little carbuncle, but whatever we're fighting sees is that.
I just want to know what Hythlodaeus' reaction to that concept was.
Does it take biscuits?
Well,
we're looking
most
at
of
like
these...
It feels like we're looking at Hythlodaeus' trash bin of denied concepts. The Labrea went dumpster dived. He dumpster dived for the good ones.
I'm very curious why, what it is about these that makes them worthy of study. Because as mentioned before, the I think it was Lycaonis, the red dog things, were not considered worthy of study that we know of. They were just decommissioned. Whereas all of these were like, we need to study this. There's something interesting about it. I want to know what.
Yeah, these were better at killing. The other ones just ate wildlife.
But what? But what?
But why?
I do go into that in the Pandaemonium video, incidentally. My theories.
This bone structure is crazy.
I will say the design on this was really cool, because at first I was just looking at it, I was like, oh, that's wild, that's so cool. And then someone said Proto Carbuncle, I was like, oh man, I can see it. You can see it instantly. It's really good
the red
design.
horn instead of the gem.
Imagining the summoners in your raid group being like, oh no.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I want to summon that. I'd play summoner if I could summon that.
Forget Bahamut.
Indeed.
Arden thinking about Hythlodaeus testing these concepts?
Bonk.
Don't ask.
Do tell.
You don't want to know. This is a relatively family-friendly stream,
that's
right?
That's Lines After Dark, don't you know?
It's called Lewd Lines.
I mean,
I'm kidding.
Lewd Lines is a spell I can cast, yes.
How about these pipes?
I believe those are bars of a cage. I could be wrong.
Very large cage.
Like, you know how massive those cages are? They're huge. Zoila says, looks like a diamond weapon reskin. And I think that there may be some, like the medial form. I think that might be true. Not exactly, but probably the same bones. I really need to know what's up with that glyph shatter look thing.
I want to catch the words here.
God.
I honestly don't think there's a whole lot to the glyph shatter thing. I think it's just an effect.
Yeah, probably. It definitely ups the drama of what
Yes, exactly.
Which is a good reason to include it.
Like, oh, he crazy. Oh, I like that.
It's the old meme of like, oh, he's just a loud guy. Oh, he's a bit fucked up, actually. It's exactly that, and I love it. And then it swaps to this face, and I'm just like, Are they swapping them to show us? Are they swapping them to show us that it's connected? Are they intentionally misdirecting us?
So yes, all the trailers are full of misinformation and
Oh yeah,
misdirection intentionally. Since I think early Stormblood, since they made them more
because
cinematic.
otherwise we figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like.
Oh.
Mm.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was going to compliment like the masterfulness of them being able to build such a hype trailer consistently every time, and none of it being true.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, it's very impressive. It's talented. I did want to comment that especially in that screen with La Habrea and all the carnivorous plants and stuff around, which we see that in that bit with the glyph, and we also see it in the screenshot that they provided in the interviews. It makes me think of how we first met him in Totorak, surrounded by carnivorous plants. I actually connected that when I saw the screenshot before we even got the trailer. I connected it like a day or two beforehand, and nobody noticed on Twitter, but that's fine.
I like Lightbreaker Celine's comment that shattering his glyph is La Habrea taking that leap into madness. I think there's a spark of that madness in him here that we'll see that just steadily grew over time. But as far as trailers, as far as the trailers go, I almost have to split out the audio and the video and go through them separately because I feel like they so misdirect. They ascribe certain lines to certain characters that don't necessarily say them or say them in different contexts. And like if you watch this one, like and take it at face value, you're like, oh man, Island Sanctuary used to be hell. Now it's awful. It used to be beautiful, and now it's a barren wasteland that we have to go fix and build buildings in.
Island Sanctuary is the void.
Yeah.
It's also why I'm hesitant to assume those final the second to last and third to last lines are La Habrea. It seems likely, and people believe it's the same voice actor, but they often lay voice lines that don't belong to a character over top a character when we don't know what they sound like yet.
Exactly.
And the last one is a different voice. It's at least a different voicing, if not a different voice actor.
I really hope it's the 3.0 La Habrea voice actor.
That's what people are
because we know from Eden, Gaia had like 20 minutes of voiced lines just from Eden. So it's not as though it's going to be an insignificant amount of dialogue.
Yes.
I put up the Troya theme for everyone.
So, Mata7 says the biggest feint in the trailer is that the trial is Scarmiglione. I think Scarmiglione is going to be the dungeon boss.
That's what I think
trial.
too. They did
no,
that
I don't want that.
I don't
they did that with Anima. Don't do that with this. This is the trials.
I think it's going to be more along the lines of ARR nonsense, where the trials are connected to the MSQ.
Yeah, MSQ trials. Let's go.
Yeah, they said that they are, but I think Scarmiglione specifically will be a dungeon boss, kind of like how Genbu was a dungeon boss, and then we went into the Four Lords.
Yeah, it could be.
I would also be entertained if Scarmiglione is their dungeon boss. Yeah, and then also comes back for the first trial. But the thing is, if we do it that way, then we'd have to have one of them in a solo battle like we did with Sapphire Weapon, which I don't personally prefer.
I think
the Genbu thing. Have we counted how many players are shown fighting him?
You know, that's a good question.
Let's go look.
Let's take a look.
Yeah, sort of like, wait a minute. We could just kind of check, probably.
Kind of like how with the Lunar Primals fight, we could kind of tell, hey, these people are fighting this one, these people are fighting that one. It's
because usually they show us the trial, and usually they show us the weapons. If you actually pay attention to the frame by frame in the trailers.
I get so happy whenever I see Kechi come up.
Kechi is a great character. This entrance, that's so good.
This looks like the final boss, second boss. See what's happening here? Give me that ether. I'm here now. What's up, guys? Phase 2.
Da-da.
With Scarmiglione, I mean, it could be. I mean, in 4, he comes back twice in the first engagement.
We could. It would be fascinating though if we fought him. He appears to die, comes back like Kuribu, and then we're like, okay, we got him. And you get to the final boss, and you're like, haha, just kidding. Because he sheds his cape in 4. He sheds his cape when he comes back as the undead version, right? That's what I seem to recall.
It's like a robe, like a cloak monster. It looks kind of unassuming, and then comes back in this form for the second fight on Mount Ordeals.
That's right. I remember because I played that as I say a kid, as a like preteen.
Yeah.
And it made a very big impression on me because I was like, oh, this was such a hard battle. Okay, I made it. Oh God, he's back. Oh
yeah.
No. Crap.
It was like that. I remember as well. And
it was very desperate, and it left an impression on me in a good way.
I mean, I forget the quote, but the vibe is like, "Fool, in death I'm stronger."
Yeah, and he was.
Yeah. So all I gotta say is if when we get Cognazo in 6.3, if we cannot see ourselves in his shiny bald head, I will be very disappointed.
Oh my.
And I want leggy Rubicante and just Barbarisha, like, for days.
I had such a crush on Rubicante as a kid. I was like...
You should. It's impossible not to.
Confused little kid crush. I was just like, why this scary fire demon hot?
Now you can write fanfic about it in the context of 14.
It's because he's a gentleman.
That reminds me. Once we're done with this, let's look at the probably Golbez's line.
Sure, absolutely.
Death doesn't exist in this world.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, let's see what NPCs we got here. Oh yeah, he just killed that person in Aether or Ether.
Which is what they do in the Void.
This is what Void Send do.
2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3.
This is looking like a dungeon boss.
Yeah, and we do see Y'shtola in the party.
Well, yeah, but Endwalker
Like
allows
I said, it could be
8-person trials.
Trial.
With
nice, we got
the team.
True.
Yeah, but I'm only seeing 4 players on the field. Yeah, so it's definitely a dungeon boss.
Which is odd because then we don't have anything in the trailer that could be the trial.
Well, the trial is completely secret. That's like if you saw on the thing, it just said trial, question.
Watch it be like
very
right out the door.
Which is so weird because usually even in a 0.2 patch, usually they show what the trial is.
What if it's the Shadow Dragon and we lose
so
Varshan right away?
I'm very curious. The thing that makes me the most curious about how secretive they're being about the trial is we understand it's going to be the 4 fiends from Final Fantasy IV. We know which ones they are. We have a reasonable guess at the order. Why the secrecy? Are they changing something? Is the design just going to be that lit?
Possibly. I don't know. One thing I do want everyone to consider, though, is that it's not just the 4 fiends and Golbez. It's the 4 fiends, Golbez, and then Zeromus. So I think we might encounter Zeromus at some point as a Cloud of Darkness level threat.
And
I like
Alex the
that a
Swan
lot.
Guy says, but again, look at what classes are facing him. There are 2 tank jobs there. Varshan can be both Dragoon and Paladin. I didn't notice that.
Interesting.
But yeah, the Troya theme, they just made it like slower and minor key for the start bit here.
Oh, you know what? Lightbreaker Salim brings up a good point, calling it now Varshan's sister is called as a Shadow Dragon. We did talk about that, but what if Asdaja is the trial?
Oh, I would be surprised this early, but it would be interesting.
Yeah, Zeromus and we've been screaming Necron as well. We're expecting to see for a while. Which I'm really excited for Zeromus, not gonna lie.
That would be really cool.
Which means we need a crazy old man in Mari Lamentorum with like Ramu length beard named Fusoya. And we need the crazy old guy who knows everything that's going on, but no one listens to him on Ethereum. And his name will be Tella, and he dies.
Hey, Cobran, consider this. If Zeromus, in Final Fantasy XII, Zeromus was created in opposition to Pashtarat.
Oh shit, are we
We'll
gonna
never get him
back?
I'm so sad, but I really want Pashtarat to come back.
So Pashy's stuck on the 13th the whole time?
Twice in ARR, and then he just poofs, come back. When will he return home from the war?
Say it louder. Say it louder.
We need to get a milk carton thing and just do a Photoshop mock-up of Pasturot as a missing kid on it.
Heck, he's been missing for 10 years now.
We need to do that for all the
It's been 10 years.
Yeah.
Have you seen this Ultima?
Lightbreaker Celine says, what if the Watcher on the Moon changes to Fusoya? I kind of could see that they are similarly themed, even if it doesn't change.
Now I'm just imagining like nothing changes except the shade just has this really long beard.
Also, my sister and I played Final Fantasy IV together when we were young, and I was trying to talk to her about it and explain some things, and she was like, wait, which one is Fusoya? And I was like, the puddle guy, because when he dies in 4, he turns into a puddle of beard. But it worked.
So we get another airship.
we already have the lunar whale. We're good. We can go to the moon.
That's such a weird spaceship.
So I saw Zental's comment, but as a creation of H, how long will he linger? I was like, a creation of hentai? Oh, Heidelin!
I wouldn't be surprised if Watcher would be around for a good long while.
Yeah, if Amrot hasn't vanished yet, then Watcher certainly hasn't, considering that Emet-Selch was not a primal infused with the power of many dead people, and Heidelin was.
Facts.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still waking up. Leave me alone.
You're allowed. Have more coffee.
I'm working on it.
Oh, that's true. Modest says they could pull an Eden's Fury and have us face more than one at a time as well. That would be interesting.
I like that idea.
That would be scary, but in a good way.
Yeah, don't waste it on Ruby and Barbarisha.
I was actually thinking those two are the ones whose powers would synergize the best. Also, they were fire and wind, like Ifrit and Garuda.
I agree, Lightbreaker Celine. Vana was a badass bitch. I like Vana a lot.
Well, let me know when we get to probably Golbez talking.
I mean, we can talk about Golbez now.
There's the voice line. I'm trying to remember exactly. Actually, let me look it up. Because I've got it right here. Then go and impress upon these interlopers the futility of defiance. It's shown over Golbez walking, so maybe it's misleading, but it makes a lot of sense to be like, hey, go mess up these guys who've come and wrecked our fell court of Troya. Get them out of there.
So, was I the only one who got Copy Factory vibes from Hildebrand being like multiple copied on the moon?
Huh. I hadn't thought of that, but now I won't be able to unthink it. Thank you.
No.
Oh, no.
Thanks a lot, Cope.
Yeah, my brain just immediately went to the android ball, except all Hildebrand.
The Katamari.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking the 2B room.
I mean, it does say in the second near raid that Moonbase online.
Mm-hmm. The Moonbase is online.
So
there is
listen, watch
something
that
there.
voice from Pandaemonium. I would have a difficult time because it's a very nice voice.
Yes.
I just
Yes,
love
that.
the gleeful sneer in Estinian's voice.
It's good.
You're not the only one. It's great.
Oh, perfect place to stop it.
Was it? If you're watching, you're probably a few seconds behind.
Oh, no, I was talking about Ketchy. He was giving that side eye.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
And yes, Estinian is like a living, breathing Kane reference, and I live for it.
From the beginning, it was
Like-
so great as a 4 fan.
Like my first RPGs were 6 and 4, and I was like, oh my god, Kane is such a badass. I want to be him.
I remember as a kid at the end of the game, he took off his helmet, and I was like, "What? He's got like long, pretty hair."
Mhm.
Yeah,
No one
long
told
blonde
me.
hair.
And I liked it. I already liked him, but I liked him all the more. Actually, the reason why I started and still main Dragoon. Question, Lightbreaker Celine. Okay, so question, bets on Estinian getting mind controlled. I think that part is done with the whole Nidhogg thing, but it's never impossible to come back.
Agreed.
Oh, sorry, have we gotten to the voice yet?
I also think it's
Got it
done.
muted.
I don't... we're here now. I
Excellent.
think. So, just a few seconds delay and then I'll...
I don't care if Ketchy's the 11 model. He looks fantastic.
My brain just keeps hearing ketchup. And
That's-
I snicker every time.
That's gotta be Fushino's voice actor playing probably Golbez. Listen to that. It sounds like Fushino but evil, and I'm having a difficult time as a result.
There was a character in Elden Ring that was voice acted by him that was also
man.
kind of like evil, so I'm like, oh, I'm ready for more of that.
What do we think about the world tree? We haven't talked about that yet.
Oh, you mean the Dryad from Greek mythology?
That's exactly right.
Calling it. It's definitely like a Dryad, but someone had a very bad thought at that moment or something. I don't know.
A very bad thought at that.
Because you can... Actually, do we have the cleaner picture? There's a cleaner picture for your perusal. If you look at the picture, you can actually see there is a lady or person in there. I personally don't think this is a warder that's been transformed because dryads are already just tree ladies.
Fuck, that's terrifying.
But
don't
I
like that
could
thing.
be wrong. Very curious about the smiling drop things in the background.
Halmarit, what
Really?
have you done?
I'm really curious if there's a phase transition for that, about maybe 80%, where all its leaves just burn off, kind of like in Final Fantasy IX.
I have a question.
Oh, that'd be cool.
So for your dryad here, in the patch art, we see what looks like an eldritch tentacle monster with red eyes. These limbs underneath the branches could be construed as tentacles in art like that. Is this that?
Possible. My personal theory is we haven't seen anything on what P8 is going to be, and the tentacles will probably be related to that, but it's not impossible that they're getting at this. Also, just a quick aside, Alex the Swan Guy says, credit to Caslo for specifying it's a Hamadryad because it's merged to a tree. I hadn't caught that. That's a good catch. Thank you.
Caslo had an amazing video on the patch art. Like, I highly
need to
recommend
go watch it then.
people watch it. It's really good.
We got a link.
Dryad and Sephiroth Unreal in the same patch? Coincidence? I think not.
Nice. Yeah, that's good. But yeah, that's a very spooky tree.
It's the werewood tree.
I was also looking at the blue lantern-like things in the back. At first, I thought they were concept crystals. I'm really curious because the entire fight seems to be taking place in this like floaty, just big room, and I'm really curious what's going on with that, where we find it. The weird triangular platform we fight it on, that's going to be interesting. Alex the Swan Guy points them out as golden apples. That's a thing from Greek mythology. That would make a lot of sense.
I wonder who our Paris is going to be.
Oh,
Who?
God. It's gonna be me. I'm going to ruin everything. And then Troy will fall.
Oh, dear
Troy,
God. Oh, my.
Golden apples and Troya being in the same patch, a coincidence? I think not.
Who's our Hera and our Aphrodite and stuff? And our
Oh, indeed.
I've been wondering about Aphrodite because many myths list Aphrodite as Hephaestus' wife.
Indeed.
Speaking of Hephaestus,
That's one possibility for that La Habrea who's going
the
a little
only
cuckoo.
father ever given for Erechthonios in mythology. Wondering what could knock someone who just casually takes control of Asphodelos down. Like, Themis is just like, yo, I got this. He's obviously a massive, amazing spellcaster because he learns ethereal shackles and interment just by watching. Or, sorry, he learns interment, presumably learns shackles too. What could knock him down? And will it reveal his mask? Yes. Man,
Me too.
Have any of you caught the La Habrea line?
Yes, I'll read them off from my document quick. The first thing is probably La Habrea. I shall see my wish fulfilled, and it seems to be let seep sorrow into your heart. I've heard sweet, but it doesn't sound right. I don't know. Seep or sweet. Oh, rest eternal in the dark depths of this prison, and that's a different voice.
Imagine we get 2 La Habreas with 2 different voices.
Oh my god, he's already body hopping.
You know,
this is where they learned it. This is where they learned how to do it.
I do think that there's got to be some of that there.
Yeah, so I think Pandaemonium is going to lead us into some insight more into the how the Asians became the Asians.
I'm excited.
I am too.
Which we
I also
need.
like that guy. I like Crazy Face. Like.
I want to know more about all of them.
The eyeballs. What's up with the eyeballs? I will say we had branches in the patch art, and now we have this Hamadryad / World Tree / something going on there.
Mm-hmm.
We have plant snake tentacle lady, and there's a snake in there.
There's a raven.
There's a raven. Very curious about that.
One of the things I think is interesting about the snake, and I think I mentioned this last week or the week before, is that it's a mix between a coral snake and a king snake. One is venomous, one is not.
Yes.
So the red meaning the yellow like that indicates a coral snake.
Kill a fellow.
Yeah. But the red touching the black indicates it's a king snake, and you can see it's yellow, red, black, yellow, black, which is very interesting. So it's giving this impression that it is dangerous, but at the same time it might not be.
Oh, this also reminds me I should talk a little about the mythology of Erichthonios, said to be a king of ancient Athens. When he was born, they actually put him in a box and gave him to 3 sisters to raise, and were like, don't open the box. And eventually, of course, because this is Greek mythology, they opened the box, and they either found a half snake, half human child, or a baby with a serpent wrapped around him. So it's very interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Kazlo's video talks about a really interesting connection between the raven and the octopus, which we see over on the left-hand side of the patch art. There's some history there, and I read up a little bit about it, how the raven got caught by the octopus and had to answer a question or something, and then the octopus killed the raven, and the raven just came back to life. But after that, they were like, we're at war.
I'm really curious what floor each of these bosses is going to be on.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, there's so many possibilities. And is it going to be one of those cases where one of these is the 4th floor boss? Or is this going to be one of those ones where we don't know yet?
I'm actually wondering if they've ever actually shown the 4th floor boss. I can't remember this, but I might be forgetting something.
So,
yeah, I'm trying to think of if they actually showed the boss
They really hit Shiva,
E12.
for example. I'm pretty sure they hit E12 too.
So we
I
are
know they
getting
went to significant lengths to hide Hesperos and his transformation.
Yeah, like for the patch 5.4 trailer, we saw the arena for E12, but I don't think we saw the boss.
That's what I recall as well.
It's been a while though.
I would be very surprised if we see the Phase 4 at all. However, once they drop the patch notes, I will be checking other languages, because I was able to confirm to a reasonable degree that Shiva was going to be Shiva by reading it, I think, in German. Because in English, it's refulgence, which seems to be light related, but there was something that was more like ice or crystal. I'll be checking that out.
We are getting close to the end of our stream, and I have something to think about, and then an announcement to make. Something to think about is, what do you think happened to Pandaemonium after the Sundering?
I think it's still there, sealed away.
I think that people have forwarded the idea that Elpis in general may have been in the area above where Kurthus is and Dravania. because we see a lot of the creations there in various parts of like the Sea of Clouds and Dravania and like in that general vicinity today, Behemoth included. And that Pandaemonium probably went with Elpis into that general vicinity. So it doesn't necessarily exist anymore, but it would have been folded into that when the Sundering occurred.
Okay.
I'm curious what effect the Sundering would have on it too.
Yeah.
And
Because
especially the creatures inside.
I do like the theory that the Sea of Clouds and Churning Mist and whatever is all pieces of Elpis. There is crossover in textures used between those zones and Elpis.
It also makes sense as a parallel to Az's Law.
Mm-hmm.
And Zental says decommissioned, which is definitely a possibility. I personally think that we're going to end out the raid series with Eric Thonios becoming the chief keyword, and that he's going to find out his parents were basically making this project for him.
Or maybe it got
don't make
split
me cry.
into 7 and became the 7 Hells.
Oh, go on.
Go on.
Wow.
You have my attention.
The Phantom Realm. Well, we do have an announcement to make.
The floor is yours.
Yes. So, first of all, everyone but Fao is fired. So next week, we will be joined by several guests. So guess I'll begin. So next week, we will have a panel conversation with Anonymous, the Eorzean Archives, the Essalim Collate, Pyromancer, Stout Helm, and Synodic Scribe. And we'll be talking about a variety of lore topics in the game. We're really excited for this.
I'm super excited. I cannot thank them all enough for coming to visit us. And Cobran, thank you for making this happen. My goodness.
It's going to be fantastic, guys. Tell all your friends.
It is an insanely stacked roster.
I have to laugh. I'm just smiling ear to ear.
And they do too, and we're very excited.
Yeah. And because it's so stacked, there will be less of us in voice as usual. I know I plan to be in chat here, helping moderate and whatnot, but it's a lot of people's.
It is.
We need to
Exactly.
let them talk.
They've got a lot to say, and we're really excited to hear it and to hear them interact with each other.
And yeah, if you aren't familiar with some of them, they're all super cool people who love the lore of this game, and we're really excited to have them on.
I was going to pull up some links for their particular YouTubes. You had another announcement, didn't you, Cobran?
I did. I don't remember.
Something involving outfits, perhaps?
Oh. I wasn't going to announce that. I was just going to post it.
Got it.
Very
But
well.
I mean, I can announce it. We're doing a Pandemonium photo shoot the day on the 20th. We'll be posting pictures on Monday.
I'm excited to see it.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it'll be at the regular time next week at 2 o'clock on the Lorelines Twitch channel. So same time, same place.
It's going to be a blast, guys.
Yeah, please be here. Don't miss it. It's going to be a big one. That said, if you are not a member of our Discord, please do join it. And feel free to pass our videos on, like, favorite, and subscribe, all that nonsense. It really does help. I hate to be the guy who says that it really does help, but it really does help. So want to put that out there. We like more friends. Bring them all.
Thanks so much, everyone who came out today.
We do have a Discord server, and you're in it.
Wow, so
Funny guy.
All these gay people in my chat.
Jesus.
Just append gay to our names the same way you do Esquire. It'll be fine.
Yes, exactly.
All right, you all. Well, I guess we can close out. So thank you all for coming. It's been an absolute blast as always, and we will see you next week. Please, please, please be here for our panel. It's a big deal. We're super excited, and I'm running out of breath. So,
So we're blasting off again.
To the moon. See all the Hildebrands.
All right. See you guys. See you later.
Have a good
Bye,
rest
everybody.
of the weekend.
Bye.
Take it easy.